All right, so you're looking into DeepSeek V3.
Yeah,
It seems like you've got research excerpts and technical details, so you want to get the full picture of this open source language model everyone's talking about.
right.
It's definitely cutting edge AI,
Yeah, it is.
and we're about to break down what makes it tick.
Definitely. So, what's really interesting about DeepSeek V3
Yeah.
is that it's designed to be the most powerful open source model out there,
Wow.
potentially rivaling even giants like GPT-4
Okay.
and doing so efficiently.
You mentioned wanting to understand the mixture of experts model.
Yeah.
People throw that term around, but like, what's the big deal?
Well, it's a big deal because it allows DeepSeek V3 to be both powerful and efficient.
Okay.
They've created a model with a massive 671 billion parameters.
Wow.
But the clever part is that only 37 billion of those are active for any given task.
So it's like having a huge toolbox, but only pulling out the specific tools you need for each job.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Tell me more about the model's architecture. What are the key elements?
Well, one of the most important is the multi-head latent attention system,
Okay.
or MLA for short.
Okay.
You can think of it as giving the model a supercharged memory.
Okay.
It lets DeepSeek V3 process huge amounts of information without getting bogged down.
So it can juggle multiple tasks and complex concepts without dropping the ball.
Precisely.
Okay.
Then there's DeepSeek Mo,
Okay.
which lets the different experts within the model work together
Mm-hmm.
smoothly and quickly,
Okay.
all while keeping that high level of accuracy.
Okay.
Imagine a team where everyone's a specialist, but they know exactly when to collaborate.
So they've built a model that's as smart as it is efficient.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they needed some serious computing power to train something this massive.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. Okay.
They trained it on a cluster of 2048 NVIDIA H800 GPUs.
Whoa.
That's a lot of hardware.
It's insane.
But they also had to be clever about how they used it.
I can only imagine the electricity bill.
Right.
So how did they pull that off? Were there any tricks they used to make the training more efficient?
Definitely.
Okay.
One of the most impressive things they did was use a technique called FP8 mixed precision training.
Okay.
It's like compressing a file without losing any data.
Okay.
This allowed them to use smaller, faster number formats
Mm-hmm.
without compromising the model's accuracy.
So they found a way to be more efficient with their computing resources,
Exactly.
which probably saved them a ton of money and time.
It did.
Awesome.
The total cost of training came in at around $5.6 million,
Okay.
which might sound like a lot,
Yeah.
but consider that it took less than 2 months to train
Okay.
on a data set of 14.8 trillion tokens.
Wow.
Compared to other large language models, that's incredibly cost-effective.
That's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
But what about the other efficiency tricks you mentioned? Tell me about the dual pipe technique.
Dual-piped is a way of overlapping computation with communication during training.
Okay.
It's like having a team that can work on multiple things at the same time. It's like maximizing efficiency.
So it's multitasking for maximum efficiency.
Yeah, basically.
Were there any other tricks?
Yes, they used clever memory-saving techniques,
Okay.
like recomputing certain values on the fly instead of storing them.
Okay.
Think of it as decluttering your workspace so you can focus on the task at hand.
I like that analogy.
All these innovations contributed to that low training cost.
Okay, so they built this incredibly powerful model in a really efficient way.
Right.
Now, the big question,
Yeah.
how well does it actually perform?
Well, DeepSeek V3 Base consistently outperforms other open source models,
Okay.
especially in code and math tasks.
Interesting.
It even competes with closed source models like GPT-4o and Claude Sonnet 3.5.
You've mentioned this needle in a haystack test. Can you explain why that's such a big deal?
So this test is fascinating because it shows how well DeepSeek V3 understands the relationships between different pieces of information,
Okay.
even across a massive amount of text. They basically hide a specific piece of information within a huge chunk of text, and the model has to find it.
So it's not just about memorizing a lot of data.
Right.
It's about truly understanding the meaning and connections within that data.
Exactly.
That's incredible. How much information can DeepSeek V3 actually handle?
DeepSeek V3 can handle input lengths of up to 128,000 tokens,
Wow.
which is like processing a whole novel in one go.
That's mind-blowing. How did they achieve that?
They use a technique called YARN, to extend the context window,
Okay.
essentially giving the model a photographic memory.
So it can remember everything it's read
Right.
and use that information to understand the context of what it's processing.
Yes.
Now, we've talked a lot about how they train the model,
Mm-hmm.
but you mentioned post-training and knowledge distillation.
Yeah.
What are they doing to make it even better?
Well, they're using techniques like supervised fine-tuning, or SFT,
Okay.
and reinforcement learning, or RL, which is like giving a brilliant student specialized training.
So they're taking this already powerful model and honing its skills even further.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. What about knowledge distillation? What's that all about?
So they took another model, deepseek R1,
Okay.
which is like a specialized cousin of deepseek V3,
Uh-huh.
and they distilled its knowledge into deepseek V3.
Interesting.
Think of it as teaching deepseek V3 the secret reasoning skills of its more specialized cousin.
So it's learning from the best.
Yeah.
This distillation process, did it actually improve DeepSeek V3?
It absolutely did, especially for challenging tasks where reasoning and problem solving are key.
That's incredible. They've created a model that's not only incredibly powerful and efficient, but also continuously learning and improving.
And it's all open source.
Right. That's what's so exciting about this. What could people do with a language model this powerful? Could DeepSeek V3 become the foundation for new game-changing applications? That's something for you to think about as we dive deeper into this model.
Yeah, it really is open source, and that opens up so many possibilities, for AI development. We're seeing these models just push the boundaries of what's achievable, making powerful tools more accessible for everyone.
I was really struck by the fact that DeepSeek V3 is open source.
Yeah.
It's not just some big tech company controlling this powerful tool.
Right.
It's out there for anyone to use and build upon.
Exactly. Researchers, developers,
It's amazing.
even just curious individuals
Yeah.
can experiment with it, adapt it for specific tasks,
Wow.
or even contribute to its development.
That's so...
It has the potential to really democratize access to advanced AI.
Okay, we've talked about the architecture, the training process, and even how they made it so efficient.
Right.
But how does it actually stack up against other models?
Yeah.
Does this thing live up to the hype?
So DeepSeek V3 Base consistently outperforms other open source models, especially when it comes to coding and math.
Interesting.
It's even giving those closed source models like GPT-4o and Claude Sonnet 3.5 a run for their money.
Give me some specifics. What kind of tests are we talking about there? Okay.
I know you mentioned benchmarks earlier.
On Live Code Benchbase, which evaluates coding skills, DeepSeek V3 absolutely nailed it.
Wow.
The same goes for Human on Evolvable, another coding test.
Okay.
And when it comes to math, DeepSeek V3 really showed its strength on the math benchmark, scoring higher than other models.
I'm impressed. But you've also talked about this base model versus a chat version.
Right.
What's the difference there?
Well, the base model is like a powerful engine,
Okay.
but it's not specifically designed for conversation.
Gotcha.
The chat version has been fine-tuned to understand natural language, respond to prompts, and engage in back-and-forth dialogue.
So they took this powerful engine and taught it how to have a conversation.
Exactly. They really focused on developing its social skills,
Interesting.
and they put it through some rigorous testing.
What kind of tests do they use?
Well, one benchmark they use is called MMLU,
Oh, right.
which stands for Massive Multitask Language. Understanding.
It tests the model's ability across a range of tasks, from basic knowledge questions to complex reasoning challenges. DeepSeek V3 scored an impressive 88.5 on MMLU,
Wow.
which puts it on par with top-tier closed-source models.
That's amazing. It sounds like it's not just a one-trick pony. Did they test its factual knowledge? That seems pretty important for a language model.
They did. They used Simple QA,
Okay.
which focuses on a model's ability to retrieve and present factual information correctly. Now, DeepSeek V3's performance on Simple QA wasn't as high as some of its other scores,
Okay.
particularly compared to those closed-source models known for their strong factual knowledge.
Does that mean it has a weakness in that area?
It seems more like a conscious decision to prioritize other aspects of training.
Okay.
They're really focused on Chinese language understanding and complex reasoning tasks. So it's more about allocating resources differently rather than a flaw in the model.
That makes sense. If you're building a model for specific purposes, you focus your efforts on those areas. But, hold on, you mentioned C-Simple QA. Is that related to Simple QA?
It is. C-Simple QA is specifically designed to test the model's understanding of Chinese factual knowledge.
Okay.
And here's where it gets interesting. DeepSeek V3 actually outperformed those closed-source giants on C-Simple QA.
So it excels at Chinese factual knowledge, even though it wasn't its main focus.
Right.
What does that tell us about the model?
It highlights DeepSeek V3's ability to generalize and adapt to different languages and knowledge domains.
Interesting.
It's a versatile learner.
This whole open source AI world is getting more interesting by the minute.
It is.
DeepSeek V3 seems to be right at the forefront.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's pushing the boundaries of what's possible with open source AI in terms of both performance and efficiency. And since it's accessible to everyone, we're likely to see a lot of creative and innovative applications coming out soon.
This is all very exciting, but let's take a step back.
Okay.
What does this all mean for the average person?
Yeah.
Why should we care about a new super smart AI model?
Well, we're talking about tools that have the potential to revolutionize how we work, learn, and interact with the world around us.
Okay.
Imagine having access to an AI assistant that can answer your questions, help you write code, solve math problems, even translate languages.
It does sound like something out of science fiction.
It's becoming more real every day.
That's awesome.
And with open source models like DeepSeek V3, these tools aren't just for a select few.
Right.
They're becoming available to everyone. More people can contribute to their development and benefit from their capabilities.
You make it sound like we're on the verge of a major shift in how we interact with technology.
I think we are.
But we've talked a lot about what DeepSeek V3 can do.
Right.
What are its limitations?
Yeah.
What are the things it struggles with?
Like many large language models, DeepSeek V3 can sometimes stumble with tasks that require common sense reasoning.
Okay.
Or understanding subtle social cues. It's excellent at processing language and following instructions, but it can misinterpret nuanced language or miss the social context of a conversation.
So it's not about to replace human interaction just yet.
Not quite.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that these are powerful tools, but they're still just tools.
Right.
We need to use them responsibly and understand their strengths and limitations.
You know, another thing that stuck with me is the amount of hardware needed to train this model.
Yeah.
2048 GPUs is not something everyone has lying around.
That's true. Training these massive models does require significant computing resources.
Yeah.
And that could be a barrier for smaller organizations or individual researchers.
So even though DeepSeek V3 is open source and accessible in principle, there are still practical challenges.
Yes. But the progress in open source AI development is undeniable.
Okay.
As hardware gets better and new training techniques emerge, we can expect these barriers to become less and less significant.
So it's not just about the model itself.
Right.
It's about the whole ecosystem that supports it. I want to touch on one more aspect of DeepSeek V3 before we move on.
Okay.
You mentioned its ability to generate creative text formats.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
We've discussed its skills in code math and factual knowledge. But DeepSeek V3 is also a surprisingly gifted storyteller poet.
Whoa.
And even songwriter.
It can write poems and songs.
It can.
That's incredible. Tell me more.
Researchers have shown that DeepSeek V3 can generate a variety of creative text formats.
Okay.
From short stories and poems to song lyrics.
Wow.
The level of fluency and creativity is often indistinguishable from human-generated content.
So it's not just a cold calculating machine. It has a touch of artistry in it.
It seems that way.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things that makes these models so fascinating.
Yeah.
They're starting to blur the lines between what we think of as human intelligence and machine intelligence.
It really does raise some big questions. What does it mean for a machine to be creative? What is inspiration? Are we just complex algorithms, or is there something more to us?
Those are questions philosophers and scientists have debated for centuries.
It's true.
DeepSeek V3 is prompting us to rethink our ideas about intelligence consciousness and the nature of creativity.
It's like we're entering a new era where art and science are intersecting in ways we never thought possible.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
With tools like DeepSeek V3 becoming more available, we can only imagine the creative masterpieces that might emerge.
Okay, I have to admit, I am completely blown away by DeepSeek V3.
Me too.
Before we wrap up, I'm curious about this multi-token prediction, or MTP. What is that?
It's one of the more technical aspects of DeepSeek V3,
Okay.
but it's a major reason for its efficiency.
How so?
Instead of predicting just the next word in a sequence, it can predict multiple words at once.
So it's like reading ahead in a book, anticipating what comes next.
That's a good analogy.
I like that.
This multi-token prediction improves accuracy and speeds up the text generation process.
Faster and more accurate. A win-win. I also noticed something called speculative decoding in the materials you provided.
Right.
What is that, and how does it relate to multi-token prediction?
Speculative decoding builds on that multi-token prediction.
Okay.
The model generates multiple possible continuations of a text sequence,
Gotcha.
and then a separate mechanism evaluates which is most likely to be correct.
Okay.
Think of it as a team of editors reviewing drafts and choosing the best one.
So it's a built-in quality control system for text generation.
Exactly. And one of the key innovations that makes DeepSeek V3 so impressive in its performance and efficiency.
I'm officially a DeepSeek V3 fan. I can't wait to see how this technology evolves and what kind of impact it will have on the world.
It's clear we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with large language models.
Yeah.
And DeepSeek V3 is a prime example of how open source innovation is putting the boundaries of AI.
This has been an incredible deep dive into DeepSeek V3.
It has.
But I think it's time to wrap up part 2 of our conversation.
I agree. There's still so much more to explore.
Yeah.
But I think you have a good grasp of the basics.
Well, we might just have to do a follow-up episode. For now, let's give our listeners a chance to process all of this. I am so excited to see what the future holds for this technology. All right, we're back. We've covered a lot of ground already, exploring DeepSeek V3's architecture training process and impressive capabilities. As we wrap up our deep dive, I'm curious, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listener walks away with about this model?
I think the most important thing to remember is that DeepSeek V3 represents a significant leap forward for open source AI.
Okay.
It's showing the world that open models can be just as powerful as, and in some cases even better than, those closed source systems that have been so dominant for so long.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
What are the implications of this shift towards open source AI? What does it mean for the future of the field?
For one, it means greater transparency.
Okay.
With open source models, anyone can see exactly how it works.
Right.
Which can help build trust and understanding.
That makes sense.
It also encourages collaboration and allows anyone to contribute to the development of these models.
Right.
That leads to faster innovation and brings in a wider range of perspectives.
And of course, there's the accessibility factor we've been talking about.
Absolutely. Open source models are available to everyone, not just big tech companies with huge budgets.
Right.
This democratization of AI has the potential to level the playing field.
I like that.
Empowering individuals and smaller organizations to use these incredible tools.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the values driving its development and how it's shared with the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
Open source AI promotes a more inclusive and collaborative approach to technological advancement, which is crucial for ensuring that AI is used ethically and benefits everyone.
Now, you've had a chance to really dig into the nuts and bolts of DeepSeek V3.
Yeah, I have.
What stands out to you as the most impressive or surprising aspect of this model?
Honestly, what impresses me most is the combination of performance and efficiency.
Okay.
It's remarkable how the researchers were able to achieve such amazing results while significantly reducing computational costs and training time.
That's really cool.
The techniques they use, like FP8 mixed precision training and dual pipe, are truly cutting edge and are really pushing the boundaries of efficient AI development.
It's like they figured out how to get more out of less.
Right.
Which always signals true innovation to me.
It's not just about brute force computation anymore.
Yeah.
It's about smart design and making sure AI systems can learn effectively without needing massive resources.
So where do you see this technology heading in the future?
That's a great question.
What potential applications of DeepSeek V3 are you most excited about?
Well, one area that really excites me is personalized education.
Okay.
Imagine AI tutors that adapt to each student's individual learning style,
Wow.
providing custom lessons and feedback
Yeah.
to help them truly grasp new concepts. DeepSeek V3's strengths in understanding natural language, reasoning, and even code generation make it perfect for that.
That would be incredible. It could completely revolutionize how we approach learning, making education more accessible and engaging for everyone.
I think so.
Another area that excites me is scientific discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine DeepSeek V3 being used to analyze huge data sets, spot patterns hidden within the data, and even generate hypotheses.
Wow.
This could lead to breakthroughs in fields like medicine materials, science, and climate change research.
Absolutely.
It's not just about making our lives easier or more entertaining.
Right.
It's about using this technology to address some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Exactly. And because it's open source, more scientists and researchers will have access to these tools.
That's awesome.
That could dramatically accelerate the pace of discovery and lead to new innovations we can't even imagine yet.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive into DeepSeek V3. I've learned so much,
Me too.
and I'm even more excited about the future of AI now.
It's an amazing field, and DeepSeek V3 is a great example of the ingenuity and collaborative spirit of the AI research community.
But here's a final thought for you, our listener. DeepSeek V3 is incredibly powerful and versatile, but at the end of the day, it's still just a tool.
Right.
It's up to us to determine how we use it.
Yeah,
Will we use it to amplify human creativity and ingenuity, or will we allow it to replace or diminish us?
that's a big question.
The choice, as always, is ours.
That's an important point.
Ah,
As with any new technology, we have a responsibility to ensure AI is used ethically and for the good of humanity.
and with that thought-provoking message, we'll wrap up our deep dive into DeepSeek V3. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.